Bitcoin to hit $1 million? Mike Novogratz thinks so, and we've obviously seen many pundits and analysts say the same. Kathy Wood, Michael Saylor, and others over the years. I'm going to tell you why he's saying we're headed to $1 million, but also today, more importantly, is the Friday Five, where I review the biggest stories of the week. No NLW today, so you're stuck with just little old me. Let us go.
Let's go.
It's Friday. You ain't got no job and you ain't got shit to do. That's not my words. That is the words of Chris Tucker from the movie aptly named Friday. And that is also the case for my co-host NLW, who apparently is off gallivanting around the world and does not have the time to grace us with his presence. Just kidding. We love him. He's a legend, and it's always great to have him reviewing the news because he does it every single day on The Breakdown and digs far more deeply into these stories than I generally do. But we're going to go ahead and start and make do with just myself here. Let's go. The first story, obviously, here, Bitcoin sinks as Israel escalates Iran standoff with airstrikes. As everybody knows, we are on the brink of war in the Middle East with Israel attacking Iran retaliating. We're not going to dig into politics and the geopolitical nature, but of course, we generally see markets react when we have geopolitical strife. In this case, we have gold soaring. We have oil way, way up. But strangely, we had Bitcoin down. Obviously, I don't think Bitcoin is a correlated asset. Doesn't bother me at all. But many will say that this is a risk-off environment, and Bitcoin will be trading like a tech stock in this environment. To them, I say, let's look at the chart. Oh, yes. Great article, but Bitcoin dipped right down to the 50 MA, all the way back up to 104,800 as we are talking. In my mind, a bit of a nothing burger, not the geopolitical part of it, the Bitcoin price action part of it. I think there's really nothing to see here thus far. As for our title story here, Galaxy's Novogratz suggests Bitcoin hits 1 million if adoption trend persist. Listen, this was in an interview that he recently gave. Nothing new here. Basically saying that at current rate of adoption, Bitcoin will reach parity with gold, if not surpass gold, with a superior digital version. And what does that mean? Well, apparently that means, a market cap of $21 trillion, which would be about a 10x, at $1 million. Do some math, carry the zero with a 1, 21 million coins, right? So that would basically equal the market cap of gold right now. Obviously, he also believes that the younger generation is going to continue buying Bitcoin. We have the institutional bid, the Wall Street bid, the sovereign bid, the literally everybody on the planet bid right now coming into Bitcoin. And that should mean nothing but up for our beloved asset. $1 million is a hyperbolic prediction for sure, but he's not saying that it happens tomorrow. The next story we have here outside of the price action is stablecoins. Of course, it's stablecoin time, guys. This is what we're doing. Oh, look, I'm glitching. Great. Back in the glitch today. It's showing really bad wireless, even though I have great wireless. StreamYard is officially tripping day 2. Crypto industry-backed stablecoin bill advances in U.S. Senate. As we know, the Genius Act to be voted on early next week, likely on Monday, and we think it will pass. There was a lot of controversy in the early days of this bill. Obviously, everybody thought that it was a layup, and then all of a sudden we had this situation where Democrats basically blocked cloture, which is a word that I'm convinced they made up just for this to make themselves sound smart. But then all those things got resolved, and now we have 65 plus votes in the Senate, which is unheard of for literally anything, a bipartisan effort to get this stablecoin bill passed, which we will likely see on Monday or Tuesday, which means it goes to the House, where it will also pass, and then it goes to the president's desk, where it will also pass. There is a heavy thirst for stablecoin action here in the United States, and it's coming. And we got a lot of other stablecoin news to support this story. We have Scott Bessent. Great name, Scott. says 2 trillion reasonable for dollar stablecoin market. I believe he says this by 2028. Actually, I don't think he's crazy on this. A 10x in stablecoins once we get legislation on the books and the rules of the road are clearly laid out. Nothing surprising there. I don't think that anybody doubts that could happen, especially with the proliferation of new stablecoins from the likes of, I don't know, Amazon and Walmart, who are issuing their own stablecoins. We saw news this week as well that Meta was going to run it back with the old Libra project that was originally so unpopular on Capitol Hill. Elizabeth Warren literally had her head explode again this week when she heard that Meta Facebook / Face Meta, whatever it's called. I don't know. What's the Instaface Snapbook? Nobody knows, but it is provocative. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren had her head exploding once again that we could possibly be getting these private stablecoins. And in the meantime, Shopify teams up with Coinbase and Stripe in USDC stablecoin payments push. This is on Base. Pretty crazy. Shopify, this is in team with Stripe, who already uses USDC. Stripe actually have been long proponents of stablecoins, adopted it much earlier than people realize. And if you want to use Stripe and make payments and they do it internally, all the things they do, weekends and nights, they've been using stablecoins here actually for quite a long time. So it's actually not surprising that Shopify will be teaming up with the two of them to do this, but we're looking at them using Base, which is, of course, Coinbase's layer 2, and 34 countries to be able to pay for items on Shopify using USDC. Wild. I don't know if you guys saw this next story, but we have the world's most famous short seller, Jim Chanos, going at it with our own demigod of Bitcoin buying, Mr. Michael Saylor. As you can see, I am struggling here with the internet. So Saylor said below here on Bloomberg TV, I explained STRK, STRF, STRD, the risk of shorting MicroStrategy, the rise of Bitcoin treasury companies, our 100% Bitcoin strategy, debunk quantum FUD, and show why AI is bullish for Bitcoin. That is a lot. As Jim Chanos says, this is, of course, complete financial gibberish. Mr. Saylor wants you to value his business based not only on the net value of his Bitcoin holdings, NAV, and market, but additionally with a multiple on the change in that NAV. Basically, now he can leverage his balance sheet. We've got a clip here about 2 minutes long of Chanos speaking directly on this.
Is a wonderful salesman, but that's what he is. He's a salesman. And what he's selling investors is the concept that you give me your money and I'm just going to go buy Bitcoin. And hopefully the value of my stock trades at a premium to the value of that Bitcoin. And so as long as I can keep doing that, I generate value. And this is, of course, I called it financial gibberish because on top of that, he also said in your interview, he said, the company should not just be valued on the basis of the Bitcoin holdings, but on a multiple of the profits that accrue from when I do this financial alchemy. And I pointed out on social media, I said, well, that's akin to saying, well, my house that rose in value from $450,000 to $500,000 last year is not worth $500,000. It's worth $1.5 million because it's worth the $500,000 plus a 20 multiple on the $50,000 increase. And of course, that's absurd. But that's the claim he's making. And let me just interject really importantly here. I'm actually doing what he is advocating, right? I am selling MicroStrategy securities to buy Bitcoin. Let's be clear, it's a hedge trade. I don't know where Bitcoin is going to go.
And it doesn't matter to you, actually.
Well, it doesn't matter. The premium compressing matters to me. It's important to understand that in 2024 and 2025, mostly at the end of 24 and 25, MicroStrategy has sold $35 billion, roughly, of securities, $33 billion in common and convertible into common, and $2 billion in preferred, most recently. The market for the preferred stock that he's selling is tiny relative to common. Let's be clear about that. And in his own words that you just played back, he makes a case that you have to be crazy to buy these preferreds, right? He's going to pay you a dividend, maybe. It's not redeemable. It's perpetual. And if I don't pay the dividends, they're not cumulative. I don't have to pay the back dividends. So, who in their right mind institutionally would buy these preferreds?
Yeah, there's a lot there to unpack. We've seen Wall Street actually attempt to make this trade before, and it sent MicroStrategy absolutely flying just, I think it was last year. But interestingly, a lot of people who dug deeply into what happened in that price action back then noticed that it also caused a major dip in Bitcoin. Why? Because if you're making this exact trade that he is, you're obviously buying Bitcoin and you're shorting MicroStrategy to see that compression in the premium to NAV. We saw this with GBTC as well, by the way, slightly different, but we saw this, which is a great trade until somebody short squeezes you and MicroStrategy goes flying. But if MicroStrategy goes flying up, what does that mean? It means those people have to sell the Bitcoin that they bought. And that happened in size of multiple billions last time this trade unwound. So as much as Michael Saylor can be right here, that it is, as he is going to point out right here, a bad idea to be shorting strategy. That didn't work. Bad idea to be shorting strategy because he says you'll get wrecked. And he basically says that he doesn't understand the business model, that strategy is effectively giving out novel Bitcoin-backed loans, is what he says exactly. I don't think he understands what our business model is. We're actually the largest issuer of Bitcoin-backed credit instruments in the world, which is actually factually true. But it could actually be bad for Bitcoin price if the short squeeze happens. And Chanos rationally, if it goes the way he could think, it is a logical trade for him to make. But they've continued going back and forth. Michael Saylor obviously blasted him, say he doesn't understand. And then, as you saw, Chanos hit him back and called him a salesman. We've had a lot of people say the same. We have some more news from Capitol Hill as our next story, which is that the House Financial Services Committee follows the House Agriculture Committee and votes to advance crypto market structure bill. So as much as we've had all the attention seemingly on stablecoins, which is where the interest is, we are actually making progress on market structure as well, which is really, really important, because this is how we're going to understand exactly what these assets are. What's a commodity? What's a security? What's a collectible, as they like to say, for NFTs and meme coins and such. But even more importantly, what happens in market structure that nobody talks about is how exchanges can operate, if they're allowed to custody your assets, if they're allowed to be brokers, if they're allowed to offer loans, if we're going to have walls like we do between those kind of entities in legacy markets. You can't, custodians are not the same as the exchanges in legacy markets. We, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you view it, in crypto, do not have those walls between. That's all going to come from market structure. And Trump has said that he wants to see this pass by August. So we are seeing progress here, likely a major priority for the White House and for Congress and the Senate to get this in before we start campaigning again for the next election. And inevitably, the Republicans don't have control of everything like they have had for so long. So market structure will be next. And to be honest, if we really want to talk about a strategic Bitcoin reserve, we're going to need to get stable coins and market structure out of the way. Ryan has pointed out that cloture is used all the time in Congress. I'm surprised you never heard of it before. I'm surprised you never heard of sarcasm before. I like to make jokes. Sometimes I just make jokes. I've heard the term many times. It's just a joke. Just a joke. Anyways, the next story that we have here is ETF Palooza. Man, U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF set to hit 1 trillion cumulative trading volume milestone in less than 18 months since launch. This is absolutely unheard of. No ETF has ever remotely come close to doing this. We know that these are the most successful ETFs in history, backed up by the fact that BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF becomes fastest to hit 70 billion, crushing gold's previous record. It ain't even close. These things are so successful. Here's our friend Eric Balchunas talking on this. IBIT just blew through 70 billion, is now the fastest ETF to ever hit that mark in only 341 days, which is 5 times faster than the old record hit by GLD of 1691 days. Guys, that's just IBIT. That's one of the ETFs reached 70 billion 5 times faster than GLD. If you add them all up, I actually have no idea, but it's a lot. It's a lot. They've done a lot better than just that. It's a lot. So that's not the only news that we have, obviously. We talked about this yesterday, but spot Ethereum ETFs pulling 240 million, beating Bitcoin ETFs 164 million daily inflows. Pretty astounding here that ETF ETH ETFs are actually outperforming Bitcoin ETFs recently, especially in the context of what I just showed you. Does this mean that ETH is back, baby, that we're going to get an alt season of epic proportions? All the things that everyone is here to find out, because let's be honest, if you were just here, as you should be, to just buy Bitcoin and dollar cost average and go about your life, we wouldn't all be making and watching content all the time. What everyone actually wants to know is what's going to happen with the rest of the market. And this could be a harbinger of good things to come. We also know that we have seen a Solana ETF advancing. That's huge news. If that gets through, we're going to see XRP ETFs and a lot of other ETFs. I don't think we still get down to Trump and come rocket ETFs. I asked Matt Hogan about this yesterday, but I don't think that's going to happen. But still, I do think we're going to see a major unlock coming soon with ETFs for almost everything you could possibly want. Our next story, SEC Chair Paul Atkins says the right to self-custody is a foundational American value. Listen, I'm not surprised that this guy, Paul Atkins, is saying this. He obviously understands it. What I think is so notable is that every single person at any meaningful level of authority and power in this government gets it. So it's, yeah, we know that Paul Atkins is a long-time proponent of Bitcoin, but the fact that you have people across the administration all the time making the important comments, not the Bitcoin should be in your portfolio or Bitcoin will probably go up, but like talking about self-custody and inflation being a problem and that Bitcoin can become a global reserve currency. Those are things that people like Larry Fink and others, even in the administration, are saying. It really shows you just how seriously most of these people take this asset and how deeply they understand it. I can't necessarily say that's the case for Trump, but he's all in, apparently, because there's a lot of money to be made. But he's got the right people in the right places in this administration, and it's really, really, truly, truly impressive. Those are the major stories. I've got another cool one here. Coinbase unveils, see this? Coinbase unveils a sweet credit card powered by American Express, offering up to 4% in Bitcoin rewards. Imagine spending money on a credit card and instead of getting useless airline miles or dumb rewards that you never remember to use or don't know how to maximize, you just get 4% back in Bitcoin. That is wild, crazy, amazing. And this is going to be an insanely, insanely popular product, I think. In other news, that's actually all the news that I wanted to talk about today. But I want just, since I've got you alone, and I never have you alone, so I don't talk about any of the stuff that I'm doing. I don't know if you guys know this. I started an AI company. We actually got a huge award from Entrepreneur in the Middle East. And I don't even want to talk about that. But the other thing that's way more exciting and is going to be cool to you, it's not even in the description here, but I'm now the proud owner of a liquor brand. Right. So this amazing guy, Ryan, reached out to me 4 years ago. I think it was like COVID and it was crazy. And he said, listen, I have an idea for a liquor brand. It's called DeFi Spirits. Look, I got it right here. I'll show you this. DeFi Spirits. He was like Bitcoin, bourbon, DeFi vodka. But we really talked about Bitcoin bourbon. He literally sent me the initial bottle designs and we talked for years and years and years. He sent me this. I drank it. Zero ownership, zero, like, obviously it's not a sponsorship, nothing like that. And then they won the biggest award for a bourbon in San Francisco, gold. And it's really, really good. And eventually I was like, man, this has to go crazy viral. This has been, by the way, for years and months. I've just never really told you guys about it. But now I'm a part owner of this company, DeFiSpirits.com. I highly recommend that you buy and try it because it's amazing. Both products are, but we're going to start blowing this up and putting it everywhere. And it's going to be awesome. And I just want to be like, Clooney and whoever else, Jay-Z, right? You got to own a liquor brand. You got to have a piece, I like your guys' comments here. Liquor in the front, party in the back, liquor, barely even know her, liquor in the front, slots around. I'm going to start calling them spirits so that I don't have to listen to your bad liquor jokes. Do that. What about the non-drinkers? I highly recommend not buying it because it would be really awful if I took a non-drinker and turned them into a drinker. Like, I'm not encouraging these. See, look, don't promote alcohol. So don't drink it, man. Should have called one corn and copper. Gonna maybe steal that. Howling wolf water. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm not non-drinkers, don't promote alcohol. Like, I don't know, just don't buy it. It's like the easiest thing ever. It's so easy. You just don't, you know. I happen to like an occasional alcoholic beverages. Loosen me up. I like the flavor of a good bourbon, and this is honestly it's the best bourbon ever. So you can, look at go DeFiSpirits.com. This is coming to a lot of bars and stuff, so you're gonna actually have access. People are saying, show you some of my records. There's too many records back there. Way too many records for me to start showing them to you. But yeah, that's why that's what we got. Yeah, it makes a good gift. That's right. If you're a non-drinker, you definitely want to give the gift of alcoholism to those in your family who might also be non-drinkers, or encourage them to drink. I don't know, man. It's not cigarettes. It's not cigarettes. Yeah, the aged and vintage 1999 Packard Bell Tower cases. What we should do is age them in old ASICs. Get some like old classic miners and pour the bourbon in there, age it for about 10 years. But honestly, guys, I'm not kidding. This stuff is so good and the brand is so awesome. And look at that bottle, man. Look at that bottle. Alcohol rots the soul. I don't know. I didn't know that the soul could rot. Is the soul like a kind of organ in my body, or is it like a rare form of wood? I don't know, man. Look for it in PA. You can buy it here. You can buy it. Look, you can literally, this is the way to buy it right now, because we're just getting, yes, I'm 21. Leave me alone. You can buy it. You can buy it right here. See? Right there. Buy it. It's that easy. You can buy it. I highly suggest it. Anyways, that's all I got. Cosmo the Wonder Dog says beats meth. I guess that'll be next, right? Yeah, drink responsibly and all the things. But guys, Bitcoin bourbon, how fucking cool is that? Seriously, man. It's awesome. Yeah, dude, you did do a great job with those bottles, Wolfie. Listen, he did the bottles. I'm not taking credit for anything that's happened for this brand. I just wanted to be a part of it, that he got it to a point where it's so incredible that I was like, man, we got to blow this thing up. It's just too good. Too good. So when you hear me, out there on my yacht with my $1 trillion because of hyperinflation liquor brand, I'll still be here, maybe hanging out with you guys. Guys, that's all we got today. DeFiSpirits.com. $1 million Bitcoin. Jim Chanos being a dickhead. That's the Friday Five. Enjoy your life. That's all we got. See you on Monday.
That's dope.